Okay, let's dive into the Blade Show lineup here for axes. I'm going to have 4 different models of axes for the Blade Show and around 5 of each model. So I'll have around 20 axes at the show. Not a lot of axes at the show, but that's because my main focus is filling orders, you know. So I was able to gather up 20 axes that can be bought with no wait time at the show. Now the first model that I'm going to have at the show is going to be my 2 1/4 pound camp axe with a 19-inch hickory handle. This is one of my favorite models, and it's one of my best selling models, and you know, for a good reason, because this size is extremely versatile for a wide variety of tasks. It can be used one-handed in any position on the axe, or even two-handed. It's long enough that it can be used two-handed, and it's comfortable and not too heavy to be used one-handed. 2 1/4 pound head weight on this camp axe, hardened and tempered back pull, which means that you can use it as a hammer. I will have 5 of these available at the Blade Show. So if you want to take one of these axes home with you, you'll probably want to get to the show on Friday as early as you can and get with me to take one of these things home with you. All of the axes are coming with leather sheaths, very thick vegetable tanned cowhide, and with rivets, glued and riveted with heavy duty snaps. This size is great for different types of backpacking and camping depending on your style. Some guys go really lightweight, some guys this isn't an issue for them to pack in this big of an axe, or maybe you're car camping or something. This is big enough to where you can split firewood for a campfire, or you can fell a tree, you can fell a downed tree, you can buck a downed tree. Just great for a wide variety of things. Also a hammer on the back. 2 1/4 pound camp axe, 19-inch handle. Let's go ahead and move on to the next axe model that I'm going to have at the show. The next model that I'm going to be showcasing and bringing to the show is my Hawksbill hatchet. Now let me talk about the Hawksbill's function and advantages and whatnot, disadvantages to some of the other axes here. They will be coming with sheaths at the show. The sheaths look like this. I just don't have the sheath for this one with me right here for this video. This is my personal axe. So obviously I really like the Hawksbill personally. It's one of my favorite models. I know I just said that about the 2 1/4 pound camp axe, but it's a mix-up between this axe and the 2 1/4 pound camp axe. I like this one for different things, and I like the 2 1/4 pound camp axe for different things. So this is what the sheaths look like. It's a really nice design. This is belt carry, so this would go in your belt, and then while it's on your belt, you don't have to take it off of your belt to take the axe out of the sheath. Take the axe out of the sheath, this stays on your belt, then you have the Hawksbill. Like I said, this is my personal one. It's been used on backpacking trips, it's been used around the shop, it's been used around the house. It does not leave the back seat of my truck. You know, this axe stays in my truck, and I've used it for different things while I've been out and about. So Hawksbill hatchet, very versatile hatchet, more so than some of the other smaller single bits. Why is it such a versatile hatchet? Well, mainly because it has 2 blades, so you have 2 different opportunities here. It also has a straight handle, and that gives you a couple of advantages. So a double bit axe allows you to have one blade that is sharpened or ground for one task, and then you have another blade here that's sharpened for other tasks in a different manner. So on the Hawksbill I have one blade that is thinner, it's sharper, and it is meant for felling, bucking, stuff, precision type cutting, stuff like that. It is pretty much your normal axe blade. Now this other blade here is ground more blunt. It's not quite as sharp, and it's a little bit thicker. That allows you to use it more as a utility blade. You can cut nails in half with this blade. I have, you know, if you're looking at real life scenarios, I have personally used this side of the blade for a couple different things, one of which would be cutting roots out of the ground. If you're digging a hole and you come across a big root, I've used my Hawksbill hatchet to cut a root out of the ground. You don't want to do that with your nice edge, because if you hit a rock, if you hit dirt, you're going to dull it. So this is excellent for cutting roots out, you know, grubbing the ground. I have even used it to cut a metal pallet strap off. Like I mentioned, I keep this in my truck. So I had gone to pick up a pallet of steel or lumber before, and I didn't have snips with me. I used the Hawksbill, hit the pallet strap, cut the pallet strap in half, and it doesn't really do any damage to the edge. This is what this edge is made for. It's also good for splitting. Like I said, just anything that's an abusive task or anything that's going to be cut close to the ground, this is the edge that you want to use. This edge is your normal axe blade edge. Couple other things about a double bit axe that really make it special is the balance that you have with this axe. It is more balanced than a single bit axe simply because the eye is in the center of the billet of steel. With a single bit, inevitably you're going to have more or less weight on one side of the axe than the other. This makes it more forward heavy, but it's not quite as balanced. Now a double bit axe is very balanced, and it just provides a different feel to the user. When you're using this axe, it's not necessarily better or worse than a single bit, it's just different and personal preference to the user. The handles, since they're straight, can also be used as measuring devices. This is 13 inches long, so it's straight. You can use it as a ruler. You can use it to tell the lean of a tree. So if you hold your fingers here in the lanyard hole and hold it up, you can use this as a gauge to tell the lean on a tree or similar things to that. Now the size of this axe is a very, very small double bit axe. This is a belt carry axe. It's 13 inches overall length with a head weight of around 20 ounces. It is great for backpacking. It's great for long distance camping trips. This, you know, when it comes to backpacking and camping, this is hands down my favorite axe model. I have gone on backpacking trips with it before. So if you're hiking through the wilderness with a backpack and you're hiking a dozen miles a day or more, this is the axe to take, because this sits on your belt. You don't have to carry it in your pack, and when it's not in your pack, you don't feel the weight as much because it's not on your back. It's not as if it's included in the weight to your pack. It's on your hip and you don't really feel that weight. It rides really naturally. And for long distance backpacking trips, this axe will do anything that you need it to do. This almost replaces a knife. I'm telling you, if you're going backpacking, if you're going camping, or if you just want a nice little hatchet for around the housework and you want to carry it on your belt, the Hawksbill is a really good option. Next up is the Trapper's Hatchet. Now the Trapper's Hatchet has a pretty classic design and it's pretty popular among my customers for the reasons of the hammer pull. So this axe has an overall length of 15 inches, making it very portable. You can hike it in you can fit in a backpack. So the Trapper's Hatchet with the 15-inch handle comes with a 1.5 pound head. 1.5 pound head is, in my opinion, a really good weight to go on a 15-inch long handle. This comes with just your standard hatchet blade. This is for fine cutting, felling, bucking, splitting, stuff like that. Anything that you need on the trail or around the house. What makes this unique is the hammer pull feature. The hammer pull makes this axe more geared towards hammering. Now one thing that I forgot to mention about the Hawksbill is that you can't hammer with it. That's the disadvantage of a double bit axe. If you are someone who likes to use their hatchet as a hammer when they're camping or working, then the double bit axe won't be good for that. But the Trapper's Hatchet will be. So if you find yourself being a type of person that wants to use an axe more versatilely as a hammer, then Trapper's Hatchet may be the one for you. What makes this hatchet have a better hammer than the other hatchets? Because all of my hatchets are hardened and tempered. So what makes this one better for hammering than the other ones? It's two things really. The balance. We have more weight on the back end of this hatchet than I do my smaller camp axes of the same relative size. So the weight distribution is different. There's more weight on the hammerhead, meaning it's going to work better for hammering. Number two, it has a smaller head shape than the normal camp axes. On a normal axe, you have a slender rectangular shape for your hammerhead. With the Trapper's Hatchet, it is more of a square, condensed shape, even though it's a small target, this is going to hammer better than a regular axe because you have all of your force is being concentrated to a small area, meaning that your hits are going to get more done faster. You know, all your work area is being concentrated to a smaller area here, and it is an octagonal face. The normal pulls on axes are not octagonal. The reason that this is octagonal is for strength issues. So if, you know, anywhere that there is an edge here, there's weakness. If there's nothing supporting that edge, then it has the potential to deform or become weak over time. So square corners are not really what you want on a hammer because there's nothing supporting a corner. The more round we can make this, the better. So having an octagonal hammerhead is better for us because there's not thin areas on the hammerhead, if that makes sense. The traverse hatchet is really geared towards being able to hammer things, but as well as being your normal hatchet. Ah yes, we've saved the biggest for the last. So we have the Farm Axe here, the 4th model that I will be taking to Blade Show. I'll have 5 of these Farm Axes. The Farm Axe is my most recent design, my most recent model to come out. It is a 4.5 pound head, absolute monster, hardened back pole. You're going to be able to drive in wedges with that for splitting or felling, and a 32-inch long hickory handle. Nice big palm swell at the end. Slender and ergonomic. This is a tool meant to be used. So the 4.5 pound head sits on the 32-inch handle. It makes this axe very powerful, very good for splitting and felling. I call it the Farm Axe because I think of this axe as an all-around kind of homestead utility, working outside, splitting a family's wood, felling down trees, felling live trees, stuff like that. This is like your utility axe for around the house or anywhere really you want to take it. But that's the idea behind calling it the Farm Axe. So this 4.5 pound head has a geometry that's really meant for splitting and felling. It's going to cut deep and it's going to knock out chips so it doesn't stick. And fortunately the same profile works great for splitting pieces of wood apart. I have a video on my YouTube channel titled Best USA Made Axes. You can see this axe, the Farm Axe, being used for bucking and splitting, just so you can see how much of a beast this thing is. Honestly, if I really had a use for this axe, I would make one for myself. I mean, right now I don't really have a use for this type of axe as much as I do the Hawksbill. But when I move out to my new property here this fall, I will probably get myself one of these, because when I'm going to be on my new property, 10 acres, and it's all woods, so you know, I could actually have a use for this type of an axe. If you're the kind of person that likes to split their own firewood by hand, or if you like to go out and do trail work, or even a conversation piece, this would be a heck of an axe to put over a mantle. It's an amazing tool. This beast of an axe can be picked up at the Blade Show. You know, this is a new model. There are not many of them out there. This is a great opportunity to pick up one of the Farm Axes, so do not miss it. So one last special thing about the axes that I'm bringing to the Blade Show is going to be the Damascus Axe collaboration that I did with Kyle Gahagan. If you follow my YouTube channel, then you're probably familiar with that axe. I did a 3-part video series on it, making the axe from scratch, start to finish. If you haven't seen that already, please go check it out. But I'm going to have that axe at the show at my table. You can come by, pick up the axe, check it out in person. But even if you're not at the show, you can get in on a chance to purchase the axe. So we are going to be having a raffle, and actually at the time of this viewing, the raffle will have already been started. I'm going to go ahead and put a picture of the axe right now on your screen. So this axe is up for raffle right now. Tickets are $20 a piece. The raffle started on Monday night, and it is going to be running until the morning of Sunday, June the 4th. This is pretty much the end of the blade show. We will choose a winner then, unless the tickets have sold out early, then we will pick a winner whenever the tickets sold out. There are only 150 tickets available, $20 a ticket. We think that this is a pretty reasonable price point for you all to get in on an axe that's worth a couple $1,000s. So go to my website, see if there are any tickets left available. There's no limit to how many tickets you can buy. This axe was just a really fun experience. Kyle and I have been planning this collaboration for about a year and a half, and it had never materialized until this blade show. So Kyle, for those of you who don't know, is a bladesmith. He makes knives, and he's really good at it. He is a journeyman smith right now, but he's going to be testing for his master smith this September. Just to give you an idea of how good he is. He's very skilled and talented. So this is the culmination of both of our talents into one piece. It is absolutely fantastic. And like I said, it's going to be at the show if you want to come by and look at it in person. And I'll see you at the show, hopefully. Thanks for watching.